Is this working? I think so. Okay, I think we're good now. Ooh, is my audio too hot? Okay, I think that's better. I don't know why the audio was so high there for a minute. Uh, okay, that should be better. So, all right. Well, I need to clean up a smidge here because I'm working on printers and haven't really made time to clean up at all. This for you. Here. All right, so while I'm cleaning up, we'll have a little bit of story time. Who's that, Viking? Hey, Viking, how's it going? Um, so a little bit of story time today. So when I left last week with the Bear printer that I was trying to put Clipper on the 1.4, I don't know what it is about this 1.4. I couldn't get it to work at all. So I went through my bin and I found that I did have a 1.3 hanging around. So I went ahead and hooked that up with my power supply here, turned it on. What do you know? Instantly started working. So clearly the 1.4 does not want to work with Clipper. I don't know. I can't remember if there was actually something wrong with the USB on that board or what the issue was, but there was some issue there. I just don't know what it was. Hey Ryan, how you doing? So I gave up trying to put Clipper on a 1.4, put the 1.3 in the printer, and now it's working. I spent a couple evenings working on it. Ended up going live in my Discord one night, hung out with Ryan and with Aaron for a couple hours while I worked on reconfiguring that board or that printer to work with the SKR. And I'm just about ready, I think, to start printing with it. I need to tune the actual location of the bed is a little off because it's printing a little to the left when I have it centered. So, but that's a pretty easy thing to change there. I'm doing good, Viking. Thank you. I am a little bit earlier tonight because the family is traveling, so I'm by myself for the next few weeks, and I can start live streams a little bit earlier because I don't have to contend with bedtime, which is really nice. And I might be able to stream a little bit longer because again, I don't need to contend with the kids, needing to go to bed or anything like that. So I have some time tonight to sink in. So tonight, so the SKR Bear is pretty close. The other thing, I could not, of course, no surprise to Ryan, I could not get the screen to work. I tried flipping these cables around 12 different ways, each way, could not get it to work at all. So I said, you know what? I don't really need to have a screen on that printer. It doesn't really do anything because I run Clipper. I do everything from the computer anyways. So why do I keep struggling with myself to get the screen to work? I think eventually I'll probably do what I've done for the other printers and just pick up a Raspberry Pi screen to throw on it. I think that'll work out well. Things here. I got all the jumpers from the SKR board. I need to put in my jumper drawer. So yeah, what's wrong with that 1.1? I don't know. It's really nothing that I am terribly worried about at this very moment. So I will work on it another day, but I'll continue to work on the clipper build for that and get that thing fully tuned and working again. That's the goal, is to get that functional. So now that we have some space, I can grab the Mark III and we can do tonight. Hey, there's Aaron. Yeah, I know headless is fine, but it is nice to be able to just kind of go there and do things on the screen. It's just the generic 2004 screen is so useless in Clipper. It's really, you really need to have a LCD to make anything worthwhile doing. So let me make sure we're not hooked up to anything. We're not. Okay, cool. All right. So now that story time is over. Next story time is my Prusa Mark 3S. So what happened with this is I started getting a TMC driver temp error, and I got on with Prusa support and troubleshot it for, I don't know, we worked on it for about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. And I knew they can't replace it, but I needed some help, and they were nice enough to help me, even though I've had this printer for 4 years now. I got it in, I think, late 18. Yeah, I think late 18, early 19 is when I got this one. So it's 4 years old, something like that now. Basically, we looked at the board, made sure thought something was blown. But either way, one of the TMC drivers is dead and or causing some type of issues, which is causing it to no longer function. So I'm going to take it out of here. I'm going to hold on to it, though, because I do want to test it using a different firmware on it if I can. But we'll see how it ends up going. I'm going to put it aside for now. But for now, I need to get this thing working, and boards are really hard to find right now. So I ended up getting a 5-sec clone, which I'm using in my Mark 3S clone that I made, my DIY one, and it's been working just fine. So I figured it would be fine in this one. Yeah, it's used for filament changes and queuing things up and whatnot. So, and the screen is nice. I mean, the Clipper screens are nice. I mean, yes, it is expensive. I mean, it is $50 to do that, and it's definitely not cheap. So this, and here is our board. Everything looks all right, as it should. So yeah, shouldn't be too terribly difficult to do this. Just gonna take a little bit, and then what I want to do is I want to put the newest firmware on here, and then I'm going to put the newest firmware on my Prusa Mini clone. That's a 5-sec clone. I've not used it in a little while, so I want to get it up, clean it off, and get that updated, because Aaron told me that there is now a way to change the steps, because I'm using the Vertex extruder that he sent me in the fall. I can change the E-steps in the actual firmware now without having to flash custom firmware, which is really nice. I like that. It might be worth the $50, Brian. I just think right now my goal is just to get that printer working again properly. I found another issue today, which is why the Z wasn't working, is that on the DuPont connections that I was using to the board, one of them was loose. So I went ahead and fashioned up very quick, which is why I had a bunch of stuff here. I went ahead and got out my old cables, got a 4-pin JST that was already pre-terminated, cut it short, put a DuPont connector on the back with some male pins, and then just hooked it into where the motor is, and then put that into the board. And that gives me a much more secure connection into the board using the JST connector instead of the DuPont. So that's not too bad. I like that. Yeah, you gave me no choice to use. I mean, it's fine. Hey, it's fine. I'm glad, honestly, that Aaron sent me that, because it forced me to do something different, and that has kind of been what I've been trying to do so much in all of these custom machines that I've built. Is, yeah, they're all generally similar, but there is something different on each one. You know, whether it be designing certain parts or using different versions, using different extruders, different hot ends even. I have Dragon hot ends, I have Mosquito hot ends, I have Mellow hot ends, I have E3D hot ends, I have Pure Clone hot ends, the E3D Hermera, the BMG. I mean, I've been trying to really make sure that I am getting a good selection in the different things I build. I'm not just building the same custom machine over and over again. You know, this was, or not this one, but the SKR Bear was supposed to be my one Marlin SKR Bear build to stay like that. And kind of realized, oh, we'll back up the story time a little bit. I didn't need to do any of the changes to the SKR. None whatsoever. I did not realize that in the octocoupler, one of the leads got loose. And that is why I was getting intermittent performance out of my bed leveling probe. It had nothing to do with the probe. It had nothing to do with the board. I could have just retightened down to that terminal in the octocoupler and it would have worked just fine. So that led me to go down the rabbit hole of the 1.4 using Clipper. Couldn't get on there. Going to 1.3. Now configuring the 1.3. Yeah, it just was me. I should have checked more of the connections, but that thing was buried down underneath all the other wires. It was hard to get to. I didn't know until I fully disassembled the printer and found that wire was not even really connected. So it is what it is. But this one, I do know this one has a problem. I do know that it needs replaced because I went through the troubleshooting steps on it. DuPont connections are great, like for certain applications. So I'm trying to think what's going to be the easiest way to do this. It's probably going to be disconnect all my power connections from the bottom and then just transplant or just pull everything out because thankfully everything is labeled. Now this clone does come with heat sinks, which is really nice. We can definitely keep things running a little bit cooler. I wish that Prusa would have put a dual Z in their board, and I do hope that in the next, when they do make their Mark IV, whenever that is, that they do independent Z leveling. Yes, it's more parts, but it's one more part because they're already doing dual Z lead screws. So adding one more driver to the custom board they're already making, which we know they have the capability because they made their own boards for for several things now. They have the capability to do it, but I think having the dual steppers that we can have Z align, and that just adds one more really useful ability of your printer firmware to be able to auto correct for that kind of stuff. All right. Okay. Now, it's always the difficult part to get to all this stuff. Might end up having to bring up the schematic for the wiring diagram for the board. It's here. Line connection, and then the extruder. Like that. Okay. That's all of that out of the way now. I mean, I hope that they go to just a straight extrusion frame, honestly, because while this is appealing, but I think just going to a straight 30-30 frame would just be better. It would bring down cost as well because I bet you 3 pieces of 30-30 is cheaper than this metal plus cutting it. Yeah, I don't think it's not gonna be an IDEX. They're gonna keep the mark number line is gonna stay in i3. I don't think they're gonna go away from that. You know, they've got the Mini as a cantilever design, but I fully expect this line to stay the same. They might change. They might add another line potentially, but I don't see that. I don't see the style of this printer changing going to the next revision. Because it's a solid design. It obviously works well. I can't get levered on it with that. There's the bed done out of the way. Over there, please. Oh, I forgot their insulated terminals have those little hooks on the end of them so they don't accidentally come loose. They have to be really loose to be able to pull those out. So that is the front Z. That is back Z. X. Come off. Come on. There we go. Now we pull the board out. Yeah, I know, but not. IDEX machines are a niche thing. Like the Mark III is meant for normal. I'm gonna say normal, but more power users. Now that they have the Mini, I think the Mark III is for a little bit more prosumer type of people, where the Mini is for literally anybody and everybody. Come on. There. 1, 2, 3. I lost a screw somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So old, new. Okay, so now this new one in. Oh, that's why that one's shorter, because it goes there. There was one shorter driver here. That's because it goes on the top one so that it can fit, ouch, under this. There we go. Okay. Which one fell out? I'm not trying to kill your dreams, but also, can you imagine the price of a Prusa IDEX? I mean, the Mark III needs to be updated and changed. Like, it needs to. We need a new board. The feature sets. You know, while it is a great printer, they definitely need to update it before they come out with a IDEX machine. Just economically speaking. And I don't think we'll see a Mark IV for a while due to the conflict in Europe. Oh, that's the one that came out. That's definitely not going to help anything. It's definitely not helping them with their neighbors being at war. You need to go in here. That. So this guy is X, right? Yeah, X, Y, Z. So X here. This is Y, goes next. X did not make it in. Like bigger enclosures. I'd love to have bigger enclosures on these printers. Electronics enclosures, I mean, because good crikey, sometimes these things are so hard to put in. Okay, now this is the back Z. I have front Z here. Okay. Now we can do the power connections. CRS, what's up? It could definitely be the same zone bed. I mean, again, I've heard so many people talk highly of it, but, you know, it's not a concern of mine. Positive, negative, positive, negative. Make sure we put everything in the right spot. Okay. Okay, now let's do the bed connection. Or no. Power supply. So we have the power detection circuit. We have the 2 and 1 for the LCD. Hopefully the LCD will work. Shut up, Ryan. Before you say anything. Okay. Come on. That's the. Yeah, they do not give you a whole lot of space to manage this. I have huge hands, but not big enough ones. All right. Now I have the heated bed thermistor, which I think is thermistor 0. Should be that one there. Should go right here. All right, I'm gonna have to pull up a diagram. I'm not gonna remember all this. They're not gonna do linear rails on a i3 style printer. The cost is prohibitive. Prusa MK3 wiring. Here we go. Make this picture big. Okay. So the lower row is filament sensor. So I have plug back in. So oh no, heated bed goes on the far side. That's heated bed. So we have our extruder thermistor. That's this one here. We have our heater, which is right here. Big chunky connector. Okay, and we have our motor here. Okay, and we have more connections here. So this is the filament sensor. It goes here. And I need to remember which of these are there. That was pinned to this is filament sensor. Go like that. And then my two fans. So which fan is which? The one with the sleeving is the hot end fan, which is this one goes in this here, like that. This one, print fan, goes here like here eventually, if I can get my stupid hand in there. Okay, that should be all the connections. So I'm just going to use get the heated bed zip tie on, which is going to be, you know, super easy because there's so much space in here. Okay, there we go. So, it's on. Oh, where'd my chat go? There it is. Hey, Gary, how you doing? Saturday it is. Happy Saturday. So, all of this stuff looks like that. And I need a big old zip tie for that too. Okay. Zip tie for that. Cool. Close this now. Oh, I gotta put the bolt, the nut back in because it fell out when I took this apart before. That. Bolt needs closure. And Zippity doo dah. Okay. Let's see if it turns on. Turns on. English. No. Okay, so now what I need to do is let me grab. I downloaded the firmware on my other computer. Move this real quick. So where my downloads. Cut those. We'll put them on the server. Paste. Done. Okay. Now we just need a USB cable. Just here. And it's not gonna work. I'm gonna lose my mouse for a minute. Okay. I'm gonna need that mouse. Where's my, here it is. Need my little USB dock. This goofy laptop only has 3 on it, and my cam link takes up too much space. All right, so we're gonna launch Prusa Slicer. And I need to copy that. Printing. Okay. All right, so we're done. Here's the 3.4311. It looks like it's the newest one I have here. That to the desktop. And we'll move the mini one as well. Okay. Prusa Slicer, help. No, it's under configuration, flash printer firmware. Browse for it on the desktop. There it is. And flash. Upgrading firmware, do not disconnect. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. That'll take a few seconds to do. And hopefully this works. Okay. It's reading, now it's flashing. It'd be nice using this printer again because I haven't used it in a while. Okay, we're still writing. Writing more. No, it's reading again. I'll do the final read now. Verified. Okay. Well, I guess let's run through the gotta get the encoder to work. Oh, cool, the button doesn't work. Maybe I didn't plug that in all the way. Reset works, but the encoder button doesn't work. What's up with that? I need to flash the firmware again because it worked before I did the flash. All right, let's flash it again. See what happens. Configuration. Flash firmware. Flash. All right, see how that works now. Man, I have to say, there are so many things that have changed in Clipper since my last version with my other printers. I spent all of last night just trying to get a print to start on the new version on Nemesis, the Bear. Man, that took an absolute hot minute to get figured out. Need to clean my printer here soon, I think. Okay. Do 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 do. Let me go here real quick. Where are we at? Come on, talk to me. All right, just about done. And flash succeeded. Yep, close that. Trying to think that one didn't work. Shouldn't take that long to come up. I need to roll back download a different version and try it. Or do it without the USB connected, maybe? Stop it. No. It's still sitting at the Prusa research thing. It did not work. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's try again. Third time's a charm, right? Although if this doesn't work, that's just absolutely par for the course for my life. Because why would it work? There's no tab on the NZ board. That's a buddy board. That's a buddy board thing for the Mini. And I shouldn't because I'm using official Prusa firmware on the NZ clone. So, well, I was until I converted it to Clipper. Push slicer. Okay, it's still writing, and now it's going to read one more time. Done. Yep, I'm getting nowhere now. Cool. All right, let's pull down an older version because it's sitting at the original Prusa i3 Prusa Research screen. So, MK3S. Off to the Google machine. Oh, where's the older versions at? Older versions. Let's just go back to 391. That's 2 years ago. Just to be safe, we can get to that. We can upgrade a little bit newer then. The 3.10 is where the most improvements have come over the last 2 years. Yeah, I did power all the way off. I can do it right now. So power it all the way off. Let's remove power. Power back in. Power back on. It does the boot screen. It does the 3 dots in the bottom right. The 3 dots go away, and then it should flip right then to the screen, but it's a whole lot of nothing. All right, so let's drag this to, come on, this to the desktop, browse for it, 391, and flash. See what happens. If it doesn't take, then I'll have to return the board to them and get a new one. See what happens. Let's go back to Prusa so I can watch it. Yeah, it reads, then it writes, then it reads, writes, and then reads one last time. It's very difficult. I wonder if Botsic has it on their website, on the listing for it. I can't scroll while it's doing it. All right, it finished. I don't think there's any errors in here. It says it flashed successfully. Yeah, it says successfully. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, so it likes that. Let's try to go to 3.10. So 3.10.0, that one has a lot of, and 3.10.1, 3.11. Does really nothing. But 3.10 does a good bit. So let's try that. Oh, no, I don't want help. I want you to close. All right, so back here, configuration, flash firmware, browse. Let's do 3.10.1 flash. See if that works or not. I mean, I haven't updated firmware on printers in forever because there's no reason to. So many people update their firmware for the sake of updating their firmware. I mean, unless there's some fix or issue you're having that requires you to update it, then by all means. But otherwise, stop. Drum roll, the last few percentage, firmware, flash successful. Come alive. I didn't reset it last time, it just did it by itself. So let's just give it a minute. See if it decides to work. I've never flashed the firmware from an SD card on a Prusa, on my Prusa. All right, so it looks like 3.10.1 is a bust. So let's do 3.10.0 now. 3.10.0 flash. Yeah, you do need a working firmware. I mean, at least we know 3.9. What is that one? 3.9.3. No, 3.9.1 does work. So we tried 3.10.1. Now we're trying 3.10.0. And yeah, because 3.9.2 just gives Super Pinda 393 is just redesigning the XYZ calibration to be more precise. So I guess we can try 393. If this still does not work, at least it's, again, I'm trying to get with the newest version that I can on here. 393 to desktop. Let's close all these out then. It's also hard because the way this arm is on here, so this holds my webcam, I really don't have access to the SD card anymore. I put a SD card adapter with a micro SD card in there, so I can still pull the micro out if I need to, but I print from this from Octoprint. 99% of the time that I use this machine nowadays is with the palette, because the pallet's usually hooked up to it, but yeah, most of the time it's with the palette, so I'm using via Octoprint. Okay, flash succeeded on that one. But I don't think 310 is going to work because we're still not showing up anything. Nope, okay. Let's go back to 393. Let's go down to 393 now. And if not, again, we'll go back to 391 just because. Got a message here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to mute for a minute. Okay, that worked. So 393 is what ended up working. So we go in here, let's go to calibration. We'll do the wizard. So I need to get some filament. And so we can do a calibration on this real quick. So get out. Hangout. Okay, that'll work. Okay, the fans are working now. We're just doing the print here. Not even a color. You mean that this is not color coordinated with it? Yeah. I don't think I had any of the PETG, the orange PETG when I printed this. I was just doing the wizard checks and things like that. Screech, screech. Knock, knock. Okay, now it's heating the bed up. Lights on. It's good. Yeah, discovered. Yep, that's heating up properly. Yeah, you never hear any noises from your Z-axis because it hardly ever moves. Or I mean, it moves, but it moves at very, very, very small increments. Come on. Finish checking the bed. Bed's okay. Now it's doing the hot end. I'll run the XYZ calibration. It will take approximately 12 minutes. Good gravy. Oh, I think I need the. Do I need the sheet on or off? I don't remember. We'll see what it says. Clean the nozzle for calibration. Click one down. The nozzle is clean. Is the steel sheet on? Yes. Please remove it. Check. And then we need a piece of paper. This guy should be fine. Okay. Now let's search for the calibration points. Screech. Gotta come again. A little bit. I will say this bit that it does is very interesting. It really is. The way that they have it kind of calibrate and go through it, it's very unique. I can't believe it says it's going to take 12 minutes for this thing to happen. It's crazy talk. The one thing I guess I can do is let's make some space, and I can bring the Mini up here while this is doing its thing. We can get the new firmware on the Mini. Oh yeah, 100%. Well, but the thing is that you need to have a bed that can do this type of calibration. And Prusa is the only one that has a bed like that. MK52 bed is it. Now, I mean, you can buy clones of the MK52 bed. That's not really the problem here, but it's it's the firmware. It'd be interesting if like Clipper decided to implement something like this. You know, that would be interesting to see. I mean, it's basically Clipper firmware is the future. It has to be. We can't stick with Marlin. Yeah, I did see the announcement for Marlin 2.1, but like Marlin is not the answer forever. We need ingenuity, and we need something new. Okay. Let's get this buddy plugged in. Okay, turn you on. And yeah. Need to put the firmware on my flash drive. Okay. So on the desktop, Mini. Mini, there it is. Copy that. Paste. Okay. Here. Settings. Firmware update. Firmware update. On restart. Okay, so we got turn this off. Speed up. Yeah, something better. Flash. Flashing new firmware. Now I need to double check what the steps need to be. So over here to Prusa slicer. Prusa Mini vertex extruder. M92 is 415. But I need to change it to. Okay. Settings. All right, Aaron, do you remember where this is at? calibration. Not see anything how to set it in here, Aaron. On top of your head. Okay, let me see if I can figure it. Let me do a quick Google search over here. Now, that one still says use N92. How do we get to it? To use custom extrusion plastic just there, minor settings required to work properly. Basic any quest. Okay, how do you do it? The LCD settings menu, settings, hardware settings, then long press the knob for experimental settings. That's what it is. Okay, so settings, hardware setup, long press. There it is. You have to long press on hardware setup. So we can do extrude steps are 325. We need to go to 415. Oh, that's pretty easy. Okay. Everything else should stay the same. Do you want to save changes and reboot? Yes, I want to save changes and reboot. All right, the Mark III is on its final one. So, all right, that's outstanding. It was nice and easy. Kind of want to do a test on it, but I don't feel like figuring out a filament stand for right now because I'm running out of desk space here. Got this great big workbench. I can do 2 printers at once, but that doesn't help me because I do 2 printers at once. This is Emma's ring. Right there. Who's that? Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. That was fairly painless. Okay. Maybe I will actually. While I have it up here, let's figure out, make some space. I don't need this anymore. Put this away. Yeah, so I don't know why it doesn't take the latest and greatest firmware from Prusa, or even anything newer than 393 is the newest version, so 3.9 major release is what it can take. Okay, 4.4. Let's go into the top. Hey, Jerry. Please place a steel bed on here. Okay. Measuring reference points. 1 of 9. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Jerry. It's too bad it doesn't it doesn't let you adjust the amount of probe points. That would be something really cool for Prusa to allow, is the adjusting of probe points. All right, all that's good. Is filament loaded? Yes. Filet. Okay, so let that continue. I need to get this and another filament out for the Mini. We say 58 tomorrow. Ah, very cool, Jerry. Sounds great. I have old orange Ziltec paper laying around. Use this. Jerry, you switched over to Twitch, eh? I have very little desire to switch platforms. All right, so let's preheat PLA. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I do like the new bench here. The nice thing about the new office is it gives me a lot more space in here, which is great. I can have this great big bench, my pegboard, and everything. Load PLA. All right. So you gotta come way down. Almost there. More. Oh, still too loose. That might be good there. A little bit more. Feels pretty good to me. Let's see how the block looks at the end, and I think it'll be ready to go. Retry. Oh my god. Yeah, I know. Okay. A bit more space there. Are you trying to purge? No, let's purge some more. Going to repeat the last setup step? No. That looks fantastic. All right, so right now we're just set up for smooth sheet. I'll add the textured sheet and the gecko tech at another time because I do love my gecko tech sheet. All right, you're purging enough. Good gravy. Come on. Yep, it's correct. Let's go ahead and print this guy. Pick a small PLA print that I did last to go from there. Okay. So yeah, so now what I need to do is I need to hook back up Octoprint. I need to get grab my power supply for it, and we need to do a test print while it's here on the bench. Because there's no better time than when it's on the bench and I can work on it. So, 3 adapter. Oh, I need way more slack than that. Just give me it all. That. Okay. Here. Let's plug this guy in. I mean, I wish that the palette would work with Clipper, because that would just be so great if I could put Clipper on this instead of having to run Octoprint separately. I'm just still not a fan of Octoprint. I probably never will be again. Its GUI seems archaic compared to what Clipper can do and how easy it makes things. Octoprint just seems like a waste of time, honestly. Alright, let's see here. The printer's operational. Hey! That was my Discord going for me. Alright. It's operational. What's the IP address? Here. Let's see if we can get to it. The other thing is that like I've never had the Octoprint.local work. Always had them just go. Yeah, Octoprint.local doesn't work ever really for me. So I have to go to my router, find the IP address, because I'm still too lazy to set my Octoprints with a static IP address, which I really should do one day. Octopi, there it is. I think that's it. Yep, there it is. That might need to be a stream in itself, just me setting static IP addresses on all of my Octoprints or all of my Raspberry Pis. We connected? Yeah, we're connected. I have to update that in a minute, so we're going to update it. Up to 1.8.1. Again, this printer has not been online for 4 months, I guess. I think it went down in, actually, no, it's June. It's 6 months. This went down in December or early January, I think it was, is when this printer went down, when the board died. Again, I don't know if that's a Prusa firmware configuration problem or if the board truly has an issue. But what I think I might do is hook up a screen to it, put Clipper on it, and go from there, because I put Clipper on the Mark 3S clone just to see if Clipper is okay with the board. And if it is, then great. I'll put it aside and I'll use it in a build. Got a little bit of dust on here. Let's preheat this. Oh, that's because it reconnected. Come on. There it is again. All right, now we can go ahead and do preheat, PLA. It also still bugs me that the Prusa LCD knob goes in the opposite direction. Because everywhere else, you turn left to go down, but on the Prusa, you turn right to go down. And that drives you crazy. All right, this is fully up to date now. I don't. Yeah, the last print I did on this was 5 months ago. So January did work. Here we just have a box. Let's see what happens. All right, Mini's getting up to speed now. So it's kicking into high gear. Are we getting any brighter? As bright as we're gonna get. Okay, so now we're just waiting for this guy to finish heating up, and then we're gonna test print on this one done, and then we can hopefully have a successful night, as we haven't had one in a little while. do need to switch out the boot on this one, because the boot on this is the whole back half of it's missing. So that's it. I mean, these silicone boots are not meant to last forever. I mean, if you look at this one here, focus on that. Let's see, hang on. You can see how the hotspot, it was pink when I first got it. Okay, 1 second, I gotta reload the filament for some reason. Tweezers go. But yeah, you can see how it was pink, but from the heat, it is changing. There we go, refocus. All right, so I think I connected the filament sensor wrong. I think I have it backwards. Let's just reset you. I know where it goes. Where's the red on the right? I think I might have accidentally connected the sensor backwards. Nope, it's connected. Sensor is on. Filament is inserted. Verification failed. Bad sensor? I wonder if the sensor was one bad. Let me double check that wiring again. Should be bottom row, red, black, blank, blank, white. Let's see. The jack with a flashlight. Bottom row, red, black, blank, blank, white. Let's try again. Might need to go into my stash here and see if I have another one somewhere. So we're gonna go down to settings, hardware setup, checks, filament sensor detection. Insert filament. Press the knob. Verification failed. Oh, cool. It looks like that's bad. So I'm gonna have to dig in and see if I have another filament sensor somewhere, which I really don't know if I do or not. wires, and switches, motors. Oh, there might be one in that other kit that I never built. I haven't built yet. Where's that? Oh, give me a second. Let me look here. So, I have an extra sensor in here that I have not used. Buttons. Everything else. Filament sensor. It's another 1.3. I have another 1.3 in here. I forgot about that. Wait, what's this? Oh, that's the gears. Sensor? I got one more place to look. Here. Oh, wait. There's one in here. I got one more here. Sweet. I did check the board connection. Board connection is correct. So now let's power this off. We'll swap out the one that's in here and see if that is the actual problem. That would be the iFixit kit. Ball head drivers will strip out these very small hex heads. Old one, new one. That printer's not too loud, is it? If it's too loud, I mean, it's printing fine. I can always turn it off. Okay. So we'll turn this back on now. Let's see. Okay, so settings. Sensor protection. Okay, insert. Failed. Okay, I wonder if it's the cable. Okay, let's grab, where did I put that? Here it is. Sensor verified. Okay, it's the cable. Cool. All right, let's turn this all off. And let's replace the cable now. See, this is why I wanted to do all these checks while it's on the bench. Makes life easier. We gotta take off these three here. 2, 3. Okay, get over here. Pass these through first, so I don't forget about them. Okay, take off all this backplate stuff. And I've not taken this apart in a long time. Oh, I'm gonna take this entire thing off now. Yep. Oh man. Now it's getting warm here. Nope, not that. Put the fan on now. All right, so we know now that it's the cable. So now I'm replacing it. It's funny because the aftermarket cables are so much thicker than the ones that come with the Prusa printer because they are tiny little things that really don't seem like they can do much. And it lasted a couple years. Which I guess is good. So I'll weave this around. And oh my goodness, I honestly don't remember how any of this goes together anymore. I truly don't. Because this is all different. But I think I'm using a different thing here. And I don't remember how any of this comes off. Because I have not taken this apart in so long. I don't know if I needed to do that or not. So, I don't know. More screws that I'm missing somewhere? These two here. That is one truth that the Prusa extruder is a little bit over engineered here. Where the bear makes up for it, because the bear is much easier to take apart. Isn't there one behind there? Oh, I can't remember for the life of me. I think I have to take off like 12 things in order to get to that cable. Take this fan off now. I guess I can clean this while I have it. If you're wearing headphones, cover your ears for the next few seconds, please. Okay, that's over. Yeah, I'm using the Butterworth design hot end on this. So it is a little bit different. Good gravy, does it not want to come apart? There it is. There it is. Okay. So we can try and fish it out. Actually, you know what? I don't need this cable anymore, so I can just cut this one out. This fishing in the new one's going to be excruciating. Goodness gracious me. Because they make it, it's just the Mark 3S is not, the extrude on the Mark 3S is not very serviceable. Make it through? No. There it is. Okay. Okay. So then this goes under here. Find this up through here. Push this into its canal. Like that. Close that back up. And I should be able to tighten those bolts down. One. Two. Retighten these top ones. Two. Okay. Push this back together. Tighten both these front ones. And put those stupid zip ties back in. So this thing stops wobbling over the place. Okay. Two of these thicker ones. Okay, there's one. And two. Okay, now I can stop wobbling all over the place. That was annoying. Okay. What else do we need to tighten back down? So we need to re-add all this stuff here. Fan support bracket. Re-add this fan. Supports. Okay. I think I could have made that easier because I forgot I have the Butterworth one on here. But again, I haven't taken this thing apart in well over a year, probably 2 years now at least, since I've last taken this thing apart. And you forget a lot when you don't work on something for a long time. I think we're stuck. There we go. Okay, there's that. And now fan in the front. And heater screw. Which will, because the looks like the nut fell out of that somewhere. I don't know where it is though. All right. Now I can cable manage the back of this thing. This side here. Actually, before I do that, I got to reattach the back of it. Here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and bottom one. Okay, now we're back to business on that. So now that that's there correctly, we can zip tie this. And then finish the cable sleeving. and pray that everything works. Actually, I guess I can verify real quick. I plug this guy back in. Okay. It's also it's a more positive connection with this aftermarket cable into the board. It's not loose. The Prusa one wasn't all that tight. Also could be why it failed or just wasn't making a good connection. This printer does not have that spacer in it. But it's fine. At least I know it's not the sensor. I can put the sensor away, and if I ever go to use it, I can just figure out an alternate cable for it. Make my own cable for it. Not a big deal. Okay, there's that. This goes here. Here and down. I'm gonna get that. Okay, there's that, and then one more zip tie to fold the extruder bundle in. And then snip all the things. 2, 3. Okay, now we can close this and button it up. Okay. The better thing a long time. Yeah, I put it on a long time ago. It was really just, I mean, I didn't actually see improvement. I think it was mainly it made it easier to take the extruder out, the hot end out, I think is what the whole spiel behind that was. And it improves the cooling performance inside where the heatsink is for the hot end, where the cold end part is at. Hardware setup, element detection, it's out, it's in, sensor verified, sweet. And now it'll load, and then we can try that print again. Minor setbacks, big minor setback. Okay, so what am I doing now? Throwing all of this stuff away, putting this sensor inside of something. I need a little. Let's put this sensor in. Yeah, original one here. There we go. Oh, I need to put that last screw in the hot end fan. It's just difficult to get to sometimes. Back, that back, this back, and then. Oh, there's the nut port. Load filament. Press not load filament. Oh, there's the filament coming out. Hot dog. Well, will say the other thing I mainly print this with this machine is all of my abrasives. So I normally print the carbon fiber PETG on this machine. All right, so now let's go back over here to here, connect. Print on this. Okay. Now let's make sure this thing prints okay, and we'll go from there. This guy works properly now. I think it worked out well for me putting this on the machine on the bench while we're working on this, because kind of killing two birds with one stone works out pretty well. Vibration in the frame a little bit. What tech did I pick? I thought I picked a simple print. Oh, either way, I think it's I'm gonna call that success there. I'll try something different. Allow me a moment, please. Pause. Cancel this. Oh, I didn't pause. There it is. Cancel. Yes, cancel print. So we need to go here to the print across this. What's that here? Test. What's not working? Maybe I need to do my. Oh, the API key. Where's that? API. Copy that. View the API and that works. Let's find a print to do. Let me find. Do something quick, like a quick push one. Go to. I totally forget. Sample models and installs on your machine. Okay about that. Nope, that's not what I want. I legitimately can't find these. 3D objects. There we go. Sample objects. There we go. There's the samples. Just watch Batman. Slice. Oh, I changed. Go back to this guy here. Slice. And then I'll go to print. That there it is. Accept. All right. Quick print for this to try out. Okay. This guy here is just chugging away. All right, now wait for this to get going again. We'll go from there. It should do a little bit of go down. Actually clean it before I started my prints, so I'll just actually clean the bed. Ooh, that's toasty. I saw the new Batman. I gotta say, I was thoroughly disappointed with the movie. It was so slow. So freaking slow. I love Batman movies. I don't know if it's just because I don't like the actor playing Batman or if it was the plot of it was just dull. I don't know. I just really disliked the movie. Grab my chisel real quick. Need a hammer to do it. I think it's good. It was so filling. It's really hard to see on that green bottom. Oh man. Man, nobody's seen Batman. That sucks. Or maybe it doesn't, because again, I thoroughly dislike the movie. Started watching Uncharted, and so far not terribly impressed because I just don't think that Spider-Man should be Nathan Drake. Oops. Yeah, I gotta say, Ryan, I'm pretty sad that your mini doesn't work very good. Prusa MK3S says, yeah, it is. Got my Mark III up and running, and I updated the firmware and stuff on the Mini with the Vertex extruder that's on there now, instead of doing it via G-code. Which I guess I need to remove that while I'm thinking about it. You remove that from Vertex extruder. No, Fusion, I didn't ask you to launch. Dang it. Looks like I've lost my print settings for the Mini. I think I'm just back. Is my new space better than the last? Yes, it is. Very much so. I've got an extra, I want to say 4 feet widthwise, or 3 feet maybe widthwise, which has enabled me to have my workbench, a bunch of stuff underneath. I've got my pegboard and everything up. I have filament storage and stuff up there. This office has an air conditioner, so it's just fantastic. I mean, right now it's winter, so I don't need it on. But yeah, when it's hot, I can definitely turn that on, and it's pretty great. Now we start cooking with some gas here. Let's see if that corner came up. Okay, I might need to adjust the. Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust the first layer height again. As this corner to curl up a little bit. But yeah, no, we really like it here. It's definitely an improvement over the last spot. So I think once, probably call it here soon because these are both functioning. I just need to tweak first layer on this a little bit more. But other than that, it looks to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I can go ahead and put these back on the shelf, put them back in the commission. I'm going to work on the SKR a little bit more tonight. I need to do, let me start a little more now. So I need to do a bit more. It's just peeling up there. I need to stop that. Okay. The corner of the man symbol had peeled up, so it was screwing it up. Either way, I know it works. I can handle the first layer issues. But yeah, so I'm going to work on the SKR Bear Clipper firmware and build now and just finish tweaking that. Again, I need to remeasure my actual start stop and everything like that because the print area on the plate on the Prusa beds for the MK52 is bigger than the 210 by 250 that is advertised because it's actually what's on the Z here, it's actually 220 or 223, something like that. So I just need to remeasure my start and stop points on that in order to recenter the print in the bed. So I'll probably end up doing that later tonight or tomorrow because it's the weekend. It's fantastic. $110 outside. Not in Australia, but I am in the southern hemisphere. So that's a good third of the world is underneath is in the southern hemisphere. But yeah, so I'm glad to see that this is printing and it is looking absolutely fantastic. That's really good to know. I don't push the Mini too hard, honestly. I never have. I don't need it for speed, but it is great for any really small parts that I want to prototype or things that I need to print. It's just nice to have a pretty reliable printer. And the vertex extruder seems to be doing pretty good. The load and unload still is sometimes kind of flaky. So, I mean, doing that manually is not the end of the world, but it could be just because I'm using this a little bit more restrictive PTFE tubing, which I like because it's orange. But yeah, I think that could be the issue with it. I love Aaron's random stories. They're fantastic. If I did half the stuff that Aaron has said that I do, I would live a pretty cool life. I can say that. But yeah, it looks like I'm maybe a little bit too low on that first layer. That could be why it ended up peeling, just because it got a little too squishy. A little too squishy, which is okay. Yeah. Well, this was a successful night. I have to say, I don't always have these type of successful live streams. Most of the time, a 4-1 V0, highly doubt. They're not worth the money, in my opinion. If LDO wants to send me one, I'll be happy to check it out. But I really don't think that the V0 is worth the money for the small build space that it is. Unless you're rapid prototyping and you only print small things, might be worth it. But for what I'm doing and whatnot, if I was early in the game, I could have built one and made some money off of it. But me building one now for content really wouldn't do very much for the channel. So if LDO wants to send me one, if Jason wants to hook me up, I'll build it, I'll test it, I'll see what it's like. Maybe it'll change my mind, but I mean, the Prusa changed my mind when I finally bought this, and this one I bought. I saved up using Patreon and YouTube revenue for 8 months, 10 months, I think, to actually be able to buy it. But yeah, I mean, it changed my mind. It's definitely one of the strongest machines out there, especially for the price point of it. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I would put Clipper on it too. Maybe I'll ping Jason and say, hey, Jason, you should send me one. But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, so I'm going to work on the SKR Clipper build a little bit tonight. And we had a successful night. I like this. So next week, what will next week be? Trying to think what I have. I've got a few weeks until I head back to the U.S. for vacation. So I'll be taking a break from everything. During that time, my wife's got a pretty full schedule for us, family vacation, things like that. But yeah, I'll figure out something for next week. I'll need to work on a printer or something like that. I've kind of been debating on doing something about the Hypercube. Maybe try and clip around the Hypercube. That might be a fun thing to do. I've got time now. That's the nice thing again with the family traveling. I'm not really limited on bedtimes and things like that. So maybe next week, if I don't have anything else I need to fix, maybe we'll put a new board in the Hypercube and we'll do a long stream of trying to configure Clipper on it. And I'll do that from my desktop because that will end up being easier. It's easier with 2 screens. The laptop here is just not an ideal setup. It's for working on the bench when I'm doing bench work, but I won't be doing bench work for that one. But yeah, we'll figure something out. If you guys have any ideas for streams, check out the Discord link down below. Love to talk with you guys. It's where we kind of hang out. In the next few weeks, I'll be hanging out in the voice channel, or video channel a little bit more as I'm working on things in the evenings. I'll probably go live on the Discord channel throughout the week. Usually it's evenings for me. It's mid-afternoon for the U.S. when I do that, or almost evening time for the U.S., I guess. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So thank you guys for joining in. Check out the links down below if you want to support the channel. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me for a couple hours, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy printing.